hallucinations and all that
Yeah,
sort of gear.
yeah. And they didn't know it was the drink or the war or a combination or and then you kind of get off the drink and come good again. And yeah, so
Well, you even think of in those days of your grandfather and even medicine. So if you were in some sort of war and someone got their arm cut, we're pretty bandages and technology, that sort of stuff, what we take for granted now. Imagine what they saw and heard, those screams because they didn't have the medicine. So those screams and the horror would have just been unforgettable.
Yeah. And, you talk about, our fathers sitting down like I did with my kids, my older couple of kids, and say, all right, tell me write this stuff down. My old man never had that.
No.
My old man got to hang out with a gambling alcoholic that run around, do all this illegal gambling and chook raffles and never worked a day in his life.
Yeah.
And like this day and age, post-traumatic stress, they'd never heard of it back then.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, my old man is a product of that being wounded, in the man's masculinity. And then, he's got his own stuff.
Yeah.
And he's passed on some stuff to me. And I'm, I say to my kids, hey, listen, I'm going to say right now, forgive me. Forgive me now. Because I got to tell you something. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And I mean, far from it. I mean, I can see I've damaged my kids, but so I'm teaching them to forgive.
Yeah. But I wonder if it's the words you say, or is it actually genetic? Because how you said Sunday night, you get angry sometimes. I do too. It's as if,
Do you?
Well, you've got 7 kids. You beat me.
I've had enough.
So many.
By Sunday
But
night.
just the sound of all that, like the business world is kind of easy for any man, Getting home, it's a whole other world where kids are fighting or they're talking so much. And I get to a sort of point where I can't think about that one thing like you can at work. I've got that one thing like a hunter. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to do that. I've got this. And only a couple of scenarios happen. Either he likes it or he doesn't. But at home, the girls are talking. They're da-da-da. It actually makes me become my dad. I often think Sunday nights. And, and I get all that moody... Like, and snappy, and is that what you mean?
I don't know, because I didn't think I was. I'm just telling you what the feedback was.
Wow.
And I suppose the last couple of weeks I have been a bit more conscious of it.
Yeah. Well, you got a new baby now.
Yeah. So that's normal for us, mate. It's always a new baby. But I suppose something that has been brought to my attention of late, and doing this Wild at Heart. That's the name of the book and the program from out of Ransomed Heart. And so everyone listening, get on, have a look at that. But one thing that they say, and I think they are on the money. A man's got to do 3 things. Every man needs a battle to fight. That's when he really comes alive, Every man needs to live an adventure. And the third thing is we need a beauty to rescue, a woman to fall in love with, But I think, I know that if you're missing one or 2 of those, it's for example, you see some blokes don't know what they got in them. You started the conversation with, they don't know what they got in them. So if you don't have a battle to fight, something to sink your teeth into, something that you're passionate about, worth living for, fighting for, you're going to take the fight somewhere because it's in you. And you end up, people, like that question I said, every man's got that question mark. Do I have what it takes? If they don't learn how to fight, they'll take that question somewhere. And I generally take the question to a woman.
Yeah.
And what if she can't answer? Well, I mean, she can't answer it anyway. She'll attempt to because she loves you. But she can't answer it.
Yeah.
And how many blokes you talk about work, an adventure to live, you got to do what you love. Goodness sake. I mean, sure, we have to pay bills, but, if you could do that one thing that makes you come alive, I guarantee you there's some other boxes that'll just get ticked automatic, you know. So,
mate, it's great. Look, I want to say this sort of just once to you because you're actually here.
Once.
Yeah. And you would have heard this. How many people have gone through your gym?
Oh, coming up around 600 blokes.
Exactly. So you would have heard this story 600 times. So just hear me out.
All right.
So before Fight Like a Pro, felt like I was working in the wrong place. I was sitting on the lounge a lot. Yeah. And when my wife would do things like aerobic stuff in front of the TV, I would never join in. I'd be quite critical, and I'd be like that smart aleck sort of thing, and doing sort of funny jokes at the dudes in the TV.
Yeah.
You know, I had that sort of, you know, for a reason. I was just, I wasn't doing exercise myself. My wife loves me. So I had one box ticked, you know, the best woman in the world.
Yeah.
But after doing your program, it only took me 5 weeks to realise all these little things that I hadn't had in my life for so long. Yeah. You know, and still to this day, I exercise every day, get a proper sweat up, which just makes me smile all day. I feel proud and sort of no one, I don't feel like anyone could challenge me. So if not as in fighting, as in I feel as fit as the next fit guy, you know, and I'm ready to defend what I love. Yeah. And so if my wife was to get up, and I've got so much energy, it feels like my blood's full of energy, right? So if my wife jumps up and does some of that aerobic stuff, I get up beside her now. It's like this, without even questioning myself. And I just think it's the greatest thing. Yeah. And my job, I actually sort of, because I've been putting out this positive vibe to everyone around me, all of a sudden within my life, offers just keep coming at me. Good things, really good things, you know. So I say this all the time now, like the negative behaviour leads to negatives. Yeah. Positive behaviour leads to positives. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, mate, you started that for me. Yeah. And there you go. I'm 601. I'll tell you that. So I guess we'll end this podcast now, but I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate you talking. Yeah. And
thank you for inviting me, mate. And I suppose that makes me feel terrific, great. You know, hearing you say it, because I know, and that's our thing. I know how are we going to make this world a better place? By getting men to come alive, you know. And I know I am limited to what I can do. Every man is limited to arm's length. But if I can help you, you might go and help 10, 20, 30. I don't know how many men, you know, you can help. So I know rather than just trying to do it all, you can't do it myself. So, you know, at the end of the day, I suppose what gets me out of bed, and I think, you know, we'll end on this, that every man's got to understand, why do they get out of bed in the morning? Why? You know, because some blokes choose not to. Yeah. So you got to understand why. And I suppose what makes me get out of bed, and, you know, the blokes that helped me at Fight Like a Pro kind of, I suppose, adopted it. We're about making better men, better husbands, better fathers, better sons, better leaders in our community. You know, we believe if the men are strong and know who they are, our women and our children will flourish.
Exactly right. And it only took me 5 weeks. And I'm talking drinking, bad behaviour, all that thing. It can happen very fast. Yeah. You can take a real guy with real problems and they'll sweat those first 3 weeks. Yeah. They get some real energy in the fourth. Yeah. But by the fifth, they're on a mission. Yeah. That's what I found in the group.
It's serious. You're seeing week 5, you're sparring. Yeah. You're getting the rubber to hit the road. Yeah. You're not living in a false economy wondering.
And that test is happening.
That's right. Every day.
Yep.
So, and what was the event like?
The event
coming out from the stage, you know, because you love being on the stage. What are you going to get off the stage and actually get it to happen? What was that like?
Well, it was a funny thing for me because I found myself on the stage. So I found myself going, you know, don't make this a comedy show. Oh, I can't explain it like that. But the fight, I'm lucky I fought twice. I'm really very, very lucky. Yeah. The first one, like most people would say, you do all 10 weeks of training, do the fight, and it's the happiest thing you've ever done. All your family and everyone is there. Yeah. Win, lose or draw, it's just this feeling of like, I finished something. I did it. I changed my life here and there. And but my second fight was when it was really, I just felt in another gear. And
in what way? You mean like mentally or?
Yeah, mentally. Like the event was more enjoyable. It wasn't like I was thinking about that had everyone got their seats and all that sort of weird stuff that people would go through. It was more like, no, I'm here to actually test myself here. And the guy I thought was a great, you know, he had he was so dynamic looking to fight. I was like, wow, I'm proud that I'm actually up against this guy. And it was, but in that second fight, I didn't think about the crowd whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was more a personal battle
Okay.
between me and him, and I can't believe I'm doing it twice. Like, you know, only 18 weeks ago, I was sitting on the couch laughing at my wife doing aerobics. So, thanks again, mate.
Hey, bless you, mate.
Yeah.
Awesome, terrific.
And I'll wrap this up.
All right,
Gavin Topp, fight like a pro. How many times did you win that Aussie title?
Oh, mate, I won it, defended it, then retired.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about it another time.
Come back, buddy.
See you, mate.
Bye.
So there it is, everyone. Episode number 36 of my podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and subscribe and rate and review and all that sort of gear. Next up, we got Anna Dare from CFM on the Gold Coast. She's been doing Sundays every Sunday on CFM Gold Coast Radio forever. And she's a funny person.